geographical area of Germany's landly Bavaria, or as we Germans say, Bayern, there is a very unique temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form as Lord Nrisimhadeva. Lord Nrisimhadeva appeared to protect his saintly son Prahlad, who sits on the lap of this deity. When God becomes angry, he turns into Nrisimhadeva. According to the Vedas, there once was a demon who was in control of nearly the entire universe. Hiranyakashipu enslaved the demigods and forbid everyone to worship anyone as God except him. In the course of time, Hiranyakashipu had a son named Prahlad. Prahlad, unlike his father, was a great saint who never considered anyone his enemy. Hiranyakashipu hated Vishnu, but Prahlad, when asked by Hiranyakashipu whom he considers worshipable and what he has learned in school, Prahlad replied that he believed that the worship of Vishnu is the greatest activity and the best that he has learned. First, Hiranyakashipu became disturbed, thinking, "This boy has no clue what he is talking about. How can he worship my enemy Vishnu, who has killed my brother Hiranyaksha? Let him be re-educated." He tried to persuade Prahlad to accept that Vishnu is their common enemy and that he as father is as good as God. After he failed to persuade him to stop his worship, he tried in many ways to kill him. Gave him poison, threw him from a cliff and tried to let him be crushed by elephants. Nothing worked on Prahlad. He could not be killed. After everything has failed to kill Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu challenged him saying, "Where is your God? Where can I find him?" Prahlad replied, "O best of the demons, the Lord is omnipresent, so he is everywhere." Hiranyakashipu angrily replied, "Is he in this pillar?" Prahlad replied with, "Yes." Hiranyakashipu, with his bare fist, smited the pillar. From the pillar, the form of Lord Nrisimhadeva appeared. After tolerating the envious behavior of Hiranyakashipu and his various attempts to murder his Bhakta Prahlad, Nrisimhadeva, who was prayed for by the demigods, appeared to rip Hiranyakashipu to shreds in order to save his innocent devotee. This is the form of God that is worshipped as Nrisimhadeva. Fortunately, unlike the Ugra Nrisimha deity in Mayapur, this Nrisimhadeva is worshipped after he has been pacified by Prahlad. Seated on his lap, Prahlad pacified Lord Nrisimhadeva with prayers, and he became peaceful again after having to kill the demons. The worship of this deity is conducted very seriously in this temple. So could you tell me something about the history of this place, how you started and why do you worship Nrisimhadeva here?
Yes, this is a very unique place. It's Simhachalam, and actually it's the oldest Nrisimha temple in ISKCON. It's the first installed Nrisimha deity also in ISKCON, 4 years before the deity in Mayapur. So this deity was installed in 1982. And the deity in Mayapur was installed in 1986. And the reason is because, especially in the 70s and 80s, you could say almost persecution of devotees in Germany. Police was always making trouble for the devotees on book distribution and Harinam. Also there was this very famous Pfarrer Hack, was a Catholic priest who was in all the media, radio, newspaper, television, always making very negative, bad propaganda for the devotees. So there was a lot of negative opposition, and the devotees took shelter of Srila Prabhupada and asked him, what they could do. And Srila Prabhupada recommended taking shelter of Lord Nrisimhadeva. The question was raised directly to Srila Prabhupada if they could install a deity of Nrisimhadeva. And the main instruction of Srila Prabhupada is that yes, they can install a deity, but it should have its own temple. So yes, the background was for sure the difficult situation at that time in Germany, in the German Yatra. And behind us actually there is a letter from Srila Prabhupada to the German Yatra, which also reflects part of this difficult situation in Germany, and how the devotees recovered and also distributed many books. And at that time this was the main center for all the German-speaking areas. So all of Austria, Germany, Swiss, was concentrated in Schloss Rettershof. For Schloss Rettershof there were many smaller centers all over Germany, but they were all closed down to focus on one big project. When Schloss Rettershof was dissolved, 1978, 78, 79, the idea was to spread the energy. And there were like one section came to Simhachalam, and the focus was self-sufficiency, similar like New Vrindavan, which was the first farm Srila Prabhupada founded in America. And the second section was focused on preaching and book distribution, and that was Heidelberg. The temple in Heidelberg was established, Kurfürstenanlage, and then the third section of devotees went to Zurich. So these three temples were, say, the expansions of the original temple in Frankfurt, you could say.
As Prabhu mentioned, the main purposes of the temple is the distribution of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and cultivation of self-sufficiency. The garden looks bright in Simhachalam, and the cows are so happy grazing on the pastures that milk literally flows out of their udder, despite not having a calf for many years. Some are not even known to have had any calf. The 2 cows that give milk in Simhachalam give a solid 20 to 25 liters a day, enough for the daily needs of the community outside big festivals, and only one is known to have had a calf, and that over 8 years ago. Most of these cows were saved from the horrible meat industry and are allowed to live a peaceful life here, whether they are productive or not.
Tell me what you're planting here.
Let's start with the inhabitants of this house. These are mainly tomatoes.
That's a tomato.
And on the ground 3 types of basilicum. This reddish one and a green one, and by structure another type of leaf. And some aubergine we got, and some chili at the end, some dill, and then the rest is flowers. No, paprika also here, paprika.
How many different types of vegetables and spices?
I never counted.
You never counted, okay.
But it's some difference for sure.
Do you know how big the garden is, like how many acres or hectares?
I also don't know. It's enough work to do.
Do you know how much percentage you are self-sufficient in?
That's hard to say, because it depends on how many people are here and how many things are ripe. And the things to get ripe, it's also not only human effort, it's also in connection with the weather. You know, sometimes it's nice when it's warm, but maybe it's too warm. Or it's nice when it's raining, but it's maybe too much raining, and so on. So it's not so easy to determine the right time for harvesting, for example. You may decide which time you're sowing, that's your decision, but how long it takes to get ripe, maybe not your decision. Maybe it depends, not only maybe, it depends on weather circumstances and so on.
Any other wisdom from the garden to share?
Take the example of Mahaprabhu explaining the process of devotional service by taking the example of a gardener. So there is some connections necessary, like a plant. It needs watering, it needs fertilizer, needs some binding, some cutting. That's a similar process, and it's a very essential.
Besides the garden and the amazing kitchen that even regularly serves fresh stone oven pizza for the community, there are various other departments that would need help.
Like pressing now, especially financial and cow protection always, because we actually are since many years, again, we have started producing milk. In the beginning there was a 7 to 10 year period where a lot of milk was produced here in Simhachalam, and then for many years we just took care of those cows, you know, after they stopped giving milk. But now we started producing milk again, so we have every day 30 liters of milk, and we're producing ghee, we're producing yogurt, and we have the facility to still expand to 4 or 5 more animals. Sevaka, a sevaka, somebody who comes to do voluntary service. For the first month they can do, anybody is welcome, devotee, non-devotee, many young people, workaways we have, or just curious people. They come and they spend a month here in Simhachalam, the community. This workaway system, you could say, based on this workaway system. Many are directly workaways who work on site and have no obligation in that sense to participate in any program or anything. but are doing voluntary work in the garden, in the kitchen, in different areas of the property.
If you are interested in visiting Lord Nrisimhadeva and his amazing devotees, then contact the following email address or check out the website of Simhachalam. Come to the beautiful Bavaria for a relaxing day trip or a long-term spiritual experience to meet the amazing and beautiful Vaishnavas.